Talk to somebody.
My leader. I'm about to sing. Talk to somebody. You need. My leader, my leader, my leader. Yo, here we are again. Module 6. By the Spirit. This one's absolutely going to be powerful. I call this module a weapon. And the reason I call it a weapon is because this is going to allow you to see temptation in your life like you've never seen it before. If you're not ready to see temptation like you've never seen it before, this module is not for you. My leaders, the reason why is because we're going to touch over the pull of temptation. We're going to touch on commitment, and we're going to touch on restrictions. These make a powerful combination in helping us understand what's from God and what's from that demon. What's from God and what you just should not be choosing. This is about getting out of places that are attempting to cause us great destruction. Okay, my leaders. So I titled this chapter By the Spirit. In this, I'm going to tell stories about Jesus and his 40-day fast, which I still find interesting. There's so much to take out of his temptation story. I had a burp. Had to burp. Okay. Don't mind me, y'all. Each day in the wilderness, Jesus was tempted of the devil for 40 days. Now, this must clearly indicate that the enemy will try and manipulate you in an assortment of ways. With 40 days being well over a month, this means each day you want to clearly be on the lookout for the enemy. So 40 days, Jesus is being tempted. Think about this in an assortment of ways. So I wrote down like over 40 different ways he probably had some type of trigger. Lust, glutton, greed, manipulation, backsliding, thoughts, wrong advice, criticism, flattery, rejection, neglect, fear, intimidation, confusion, lack, unworthiness, doubt, pleasure, anger, promises, blindness, initiative, pride, humiliation, eloquent words, dishonesty, craving, desires, works, worship, misdirection, protection, ease, advancement, companionship, partnership, penmanship, fellowship, statuses, position. The list can go on. And I name these because there are a number of ways that the enemy uses to throw us off the path. Okay? This is just to name a few. And all the ones that I name are actually not bad, but in the counsel of the enemy, all lead to destruction. In the counsel of the enemy, you don't care what devil tries to give you. In the counsel of Satan, and anything that he attempts to hand you, it is for your destruction and it's for your demise. Understand that. If it ain't from God, for your demise. Now, in the wilderness, since we are looking to survive, that can be the most difficult place to spot the difference in a God-ordained opportunity or the one that simply being made for survival only. Okay, come on. If all you're looking to do is survive in life, then you will by all means most absolutely go astray. Let me read that again. If you are looking in this lifetime and all you're looking to do is to survive in life, then you will by all means most absolutely go astray. Because it's not about anything pertaining to the spirit. Only in the spiritual do we receive divine counsel from God, not the flesh. I want y'all to hear this point. The spirit is not concerned about survival because it doesn't perish. Let that sink in. It's eternal. So the spirit, because the spirit is eternal, the spirit of God that's within you, and it can never be in such a space where it's always in this scarcity. No, it's always thinking greater. Greater works will you and I do than even Jesus Christ. Think about this for a second. Your spirit is thinking beyond survival. But the flesh needs things right here, immediately, now. The wilderness. If you have ever seen the wilderness, it is not a flat ground where everything is in plain sight. In the wilderness, you often can't see what is ahead. It's surrounded by so much things and obstacles, branches, trees, bugs, wildlife. The distractions are endless. How can one continue to remain focused around so much distractions? And not just any distractions, the type of distractions that actually capture your attention and make you want to move towards them. Jesus fasting in the wilderness meant that he was not in submission to the desires of his flesh. Extended days of fasting meant he was also conquering his mentally stimulating or cognitive desires. He was conquering his emotional desires. He was conquering his desires. Remember, the devil tempted Jesus for 40 days with a plethora of temptations, and all of them definitely were not merely flesh. But Jesus, choosing to first conquer his flesh, allowed him to win battles in other areas. Okay? In the wilderness, there is so much diversity that something is bound to capture your interest. My leaders, something. Don't lie to yourself. Something in the wilderness is going to capture your attention at some point in time. If Jesus suffered with this, so will you. The wilderness offers an array of stimulation. Fasting allowed Jesus to remain focused regardless. Fasting allowed Jesus to see his path through the wilderness. My leader, if you are lost in your life today, the chances are that you may be operating heavily from the flesh and can't truly discern or trust that the Spirit is leading you. The Spirit can be leading you and still be overshadowed by your desires because currently your fleshly pull is stronger in your life. That can be taken care of, my leader, by fasting. I'll say it again. When you have this fleshly pull that is ever so increasingly raging, fasting is what's going to absolutely have your flesh submit to your spirit. There's nothing your flesh can do when your flesh sees how committed you are to your spirit. And when you are committed to your spirit, praying to God through fasting, you will receive strength. This is certain. You will receive strength. I have been fasting for years now. Yes, I do take those extreme fast days, sometimes 3 days, no food, no water. Some days, 7 days. In the past, you've seen me do 2 weeks with no food. But regardless of those days, I always fast. My fast days are Monday. Right now, they're Tuesdays and Fridays. 2 times a week. I do it, and I've been doing that for like a few years now, 4 or 5 years, and it's so beautiful because it allows me to always humble myself and practice allowing God to lead me when I'm hungry and I'm starving in those days. It's very important. And what I see is God gives me strength. I'm not thinking about food. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about serving. How can I serve others? I see things clearly. I'm asking, who can I pray for? Things become very clear to me. So I want y'all to think about that. Jesus did it. Why did Jesus fast? What was the purpose behind it? It's powerful.